With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Join Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland, and Austin Norman this Thursday, March 27th at the brand new Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane as we celebrate MLB opening day and the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. That's Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to a $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the show. Got a full one for you today. A full 2 hours on a Taco Tuesday. You get you some, Stricky?
No.
Tipsy Tina's came through.
Did they?
Yeah.
And it's gone.
It is not gone.
We had a full house in here, so it has to be gone.
I was the one that packed it away. It is still there as of about an hour ago.
I might have to go take a dip.
It was so good.
Yeah?
So very good. Yep, they
Of
brought
course
the
it is.
Americans,
Always
the
is.
ground beef, the cheese, the lettuce, the normal fixins. So huge shout out Tipsy Tina's.
Shout out to Tipsy Tina's.
Big shout out to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese as well. They are the sponsor of this fine show that we like to call On the Block. I'm Austin Norman. He's Eric Strickland. We are with you until 5 o'clock here today during On the Block. No Takedown Tuesday. Some other obligations for Nebraska wrestling and DP. So Strick and I will carry you through till 5 when we'll have the teammates timeout like normal. 402-464-5685. If you've got anything on your mind you want to talk about, let us know. We will get into Husker football starting spring practice, some guys back for pro day as well. But before we get into that, Stricky, some news in the last hour and a half or so. Nebraska men's basketball has lined up its first official visitor out of the transfer portal. It's Price Sanford, younger brother of Peyton Sanford. Price was on an official visit to Nebraska during the recruiting process. 6'7", 200-pounder, averaged about 8 points per game. Scored double figures, I believe, 4 times last year. Maybe it was his last 4 games. But the most important stat, he shot 40% from 3 on 4 attempts per game. You really think about something over there, my guy.
Silence is deafening. Listen,
What's wrong with Price Sanford?
I'm not going to say anything's wrong. I'm just going to say you have a lot of that in the room. Like, I
Do you?
understand. I mean, you don't? I mean,
The only guy that's
everybody, you're talking about post numbers. We're talking about guys that had those same types of numbers. You went after them. They're here. Same type of, I mean, okay, let me just take it off the numbers.
Okay.
Type of player.
you have one of them. One and a half.
Gavin, Essegian, same type players. Essegian's just not as tall, but they have the same what's the word I'm looking for? They
Archetype, role.
They're the same archetype, the same style of play. They both require that you need to get them room, or they're catch and shoot, or you need to figure out how to get them to a shot. Tell me where they're both guys that can create their own shot.
I think Sanford's better at it than Essegian is.
All right, I'm gonna leave.
That's my opinion.
We'll just see if they bring him, and we'll see.
Official visit is tomorrow. But no, I think that's a guy Nebraska could really use. Here's the thing, Strick. I think Nebraska would be interested anyway, because I think this is a system that thrives off having a bunch of guys like that can space the floor, take one or two dribbles, and create their own shot. But I also think it would be less likely for Nebraska to go get Price Sanford if Gavin Griffiths had developed. You know, it kind of feels like, okay, well, it didn't work out with Gavin Griffiths, so we got to go get this guy because we need someone like that to contribute.
Well, for me, that's putting you in a space to where you're looking at the same type of style of play, where you're going to be heavily reliant on rink mass. And at this point, you're going to have a bunch of guys that if anything unfortunately happens to rink mass, you're done. Because you're not going to have nothing to set you up, because none of them can create shots on their own. I'm just saying.
Right
I mean,
now.
This is just the beginning stages. I'm just saying, so the problem with what's going on right now, Austin, and listeners, 402 blockheads, tell me if I'm wrong. And I mean, you can say I'm wrong, but that don't mean you're right. but what I'm saying is this. I'm saying you already, to me, I haven't seen a huge desire for influx in funds. So Sanford, I'm sure, is going to require probably some cakeola.
Mm-hmm.
So you're hurting yourself from the standpoint of how you want to approach it. You've got a young player in there that's already that mode. You just haven't seen him. You've seen this guy for a few, but you're going after this guy, which then hurts you in the development area of where you need to increase that, because you're not spending money heavily in, the acquisition of players to come and play for you. So you need to be heavily reliant on a good balance of young players, develop them, even if they have similar archetypes. But if you're going out, spending money and attracting or going after similar archetypes to what you already not only have brought in, then that leaves a reliance, to me, that leaves a reliance on areas where you're deficient. You have only one rink mass, unless you super develop Burukton Gel, and there is this, like a whirlwind 180 degree turn from who he was last year. Right. So that's the way I'm just big picture looking at it. I don't have nothing against young fella. I'm sure he can stroke it and he can shoot. Pause. But I'm still a little hesitant because of what I saw this year on style of play. Yes, I've approached it from a rink mass angle of him coming back, and if he's fully healthy, I think you got something there, because you still don't have super dominant big men. Rink is very crafty. He knows how to create a shot. He knows how to create space.
Brad says Mast ain't sticking around. Brad, you must have missed the show yesterday, because Nebraska officially announced that Rink Mast is coming back. So he is back on the team for next season, but I think to Strick's point, Tricky. He's coming off missing a full year.
Yeah.
With knee surgery, you're not guaranteed to get the same player.
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Being that that's the case, you're betting a lot of Russian roulette or roulette money on a specific number, as opposed to betting on red, betting on black, diversifying, spreading. Yeah, there you go. You feel me?
I do. Let's go to 5162 on the text line here. Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. 5162 says, all of the rumored transfer targets leave a lot to be desired. We had a similar type of conversation. Stricky, it's one thing for us to say Nebraska needs to fill position X, role Y, and archetype Z. We can say that. But I would point people back to just last week or 2 weeks ago when we had the conversation about what the financials and actual paperwork looks like for Nebraska. It's not upper tier. It's not elite. Nebraska is not going to go into the transfer portal and get Donovan Dent from New Mexico. Nebraska is not going to go into the transfer portal and get Mackenzie Mbako from Indiana, right?
Yeah.
That's not the type of prospect Nebraska is going to attract. If they are, it's going to be one of them. And it's going to take up 75+% of their budget. And I don't want to speak for you, Strick, but I don't think that's a responsible way for Nebraska to spend NIL money.
I mean, you're saying the same thing. You're just putting, an emphasis on things I've been saying. Yeah. I'm just looking at the big picture as to what they're doing, what they're not doing, how they're doing it, how they're going about doing it, who's available, how can they approach it, do they want to approach it, who has passed up before, and then the style that you're looking to implement based on not only what you brought in last year, boom, you missed, and what you got in room. So I'm just looking at it more from a bigger, you just broke it down in a more microcosm manner.
The other part of this too, let's just go back to Price Sanford for a second here. It's
now,
interesting.
if he's Brent Price, I'm all right with if he's a Brent Price type or any one of the prices. I'm okay with that.
Then the price is right, you might say. Here's Price Sanford being the first known official visitor is interesting because I think you can approach that one of two ways. Number one, Price Sanford is not the guy that's going to take your team to the next level. He's a connective piece. He's a role guy, right? He's not an all conference caliber player right now. The odds that he grows into that, I'm not sure. He's a nice piece to have around. He could do some useful things for your team. It's easier to go get those guys than the studs. On the one hand, Strick, if you want to go all in and get a stud, it's nice to have guys like Price Sanford in place, right? Hey, this is a guy that's going to make your life easier. He's going to keep that defender 2 steps closer to the corner when he spaces. He can do a little secondary ball handling. He can defend positionally. You need players like this on a roster to attract high-level talent. But, like you said, spending money on a guy like that first takes away from the coffers that maybe you need an extra $15,000, $25,000, $50,000 to get over the hump with a better player that you think can legitimately be an all-conference lead piece for you. But it's hard to attract those guys if you don't have these other pieces. It's interesting seeing Nebraska, again, relative to level, right? Because Nebraska is not going to attract many studs, but Nebraska seems like it's filling out the rest of the roster, then trying to draft the quarterback, for example, instead of drafting the quarterback and then filling in the roster around it.
Right. And so the unfortunate thing that you have is, one, you're not a destination place.
Correct.
You're not a place that, and so then you're not a place that, like you just said, top tier talent is jumping at a whim to fly out here. What can attract that? Style. You didn't really show a style that makes it real fun. I think you were able to draw in talent, especially from teams and players that you played against, because you showed a uniqueness to the style. It looked fun, right? Now, so because of that, you find yourself in I'm just going to say a Dallas Mavericks scenario. Not Dallas Mavericks after Luka, Dallas Mavericks before Luka, where you were literally having to pay guys like OJ Mayo that You basically you overpaid. You overpaid for him. You overpaid for the what was the guy's name? He could play defense, but he kind of reminded me of Dunwoody, but he was taller, but he was before that. He was before him. I can't remember his name. Gosh dang it, I hate that. But what I'm saying is my mind's saying Monty Williams, but it's not Monty Williams. It's something else. Oh gosh.
You remember the year?
I want to say he was there right before Dirk retired and right around the time Luka was still there. But I think it was before Kyrie came. He might have been involved in the Kyrie trade, actually, because they overpaid him. Gosh, he could play defense. He was a 3-and-D guy.
Finney Smith?
No. But anyway, what I'm saying, while you're looking, because I'll know his name once you say it.
Not Hardaway Jr.?
No, I know them. He
Wes Matthews.
There it is. Him.
Yeah. Wesley
Matthews, right? They have to overpay those guys. They even overpaid Hardaway. Everybody, for the most part, they kind of overpaid. And unfortunately, Nebraska has to jump quick. They can't wait like most other schools can.
3764 Stricky says Eric Dampier was the worst overpay in Mavs history. It's
Eric
him or Chandler
Dampier was
Parsons,
bad.
right?
Eric Dampier was
sorry.
Yeah, Mississippi State. We played them actually out. We lost to them barely out of a tournament in the finals.
Well, it's Dampier or Chandler Parsons. Those are your options.
I say Chandler was worse. You know, Dampier's a center. He was a center. I mean, Parsons was a wasted position for me. But we need to get into that top five worst deals of all. And I already told you one of my ones that was in there was freaking Austin Crozier.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, summer is coming, so I'm sure we will get into that. 5162 follows up and says the basketball program is never going to change if the administration doesn't change its view on the program. Invest in it and put expectations on it. If you don't expect success from it, you'll never get success from it. We've been saying that on this show many, many times. And it's chicken or the egg, right? Do you need to have success to get funding, or do you need funding to be successful? You know, maybe an infusion of cash would help. It certainly wouldn't hurt, but you got to make sure you maximize it then, because what good is a one-time infusion if it's not going to continue to happen and be an investment, right? Because there's a difference between just putting cash into it and paying for a team and investing in the program. Those are words I said on this very show last week, right? Yeah, sure. Maybe you want to just go year by year, but I would rather see Nebraska invest in the infrastructure behind the scenes, whatever that looks like, to get the program in a better spot. I'm not talking facilities. I'm talking actual personnel in the building that can help run the basketball program, scouting, development, whatever it is that looks like. I think there's a lot of ways the program can invest. Obviously, money's going to go to the players. I'm not saying hold off on that. But what I'm saying is that's going to come from the rev share cap, the money for players in a lot of the cases. There needs to be more behind the scenes, but it's hard to ask for more when you're currently doing less. Real
quick. So the issue becomes this when you're talking about what you just said. You're going to have to make a decision. If you're not for basketball, you know that Nebraska is focused on football and getting to the college football playoff. You can tell that. Why? Because of all of the people that they've added to their staff. I'm talking about not just on field support. All things concerned. They haven't done that in basketball.
Yeah.
Neither basketball. I can probably tell you that they would even consider it. They haven't really had to. They've been very fortunate in volleyball. You know, when you're a top program like that, consistently across the board, you're willing to make sure that stays intact. But you're not seeing it in all the other sports, and that's when you know that they're not committed to really having the program as a whole. They're committed to certain aspects of the program. That's just what you see, and you see it, but you also see it by way of what they're doing. Until Nebraska, I'm talking about Nebraska decides that they want to have that on the girls' side as well as the boys, or if the boys and let the trickle over happen with the girls, whatever it is. If you're not seeing it on that back end infrastructure because you need that support so that guys can focus on other areas like development, like making sure that guys, fit into the mode of what you're trying to accomplish, showing them, breaking them down. Why? Like, coaches don't have time to do that on an, small group, individual basis, but they need support to do that. I don't know if they have that, because then that's going to mean that.
Yeah.
Now he can't be on the road. So it's a lot of
There's
stuff.
a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
There absolutely are. But I'll come back to this. Other programs have figured it out. Why can't Nebraska?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It makes you think that they don't really care, and they haven't.
It feels like a choice.
You're making a choice that, and it's going to eventually upset it. Look, I don't care if it's toothpaste. I don't care if it's food. I don't care if it's a car. If it's a drink, like I was talking not too long ago, Austin, to a friend. I'm like, you can go to a bar, right? If the word begins to spread that you're watering down the drinks and you're paying premium dollar for that bourbon, and you've watered it down, or you've not given the full amount, or that wine, I went to a spot down not me, but I'm just saying, you went to another spot or a restaurant, they give you 9 ounces for the same amount, and they're giving you 4. And you're just like, bruh.
Word gets around.
Eventually, it's going to spread, and they're not going to want to partake in dealing with the product that you're putting out. It's going to kick in. Now, the issue is you want to make sure that you keep the level of product. Why do people continue to buy phones? If they were garbage, eventually the people are going to stop buying the phone.
Yeah.
If the technology stinks, I can go on and on. The cars, if your wreck record or your rollover record is horrible, eventually people are going to stop buying your car. I see that happening eventually to Nebraska. They in the Big Ten, they're one of the top 5 teams as far as attendance. Hadn't really, consistently won to the level. Got top 3 last year. And when we went to the games, when we started going, it was sparse.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the product
improves.
It was carryover this year on the previous year product. Now we're going to see. And I'm telling you, people are watching. People are watching, trying to see what you're going to bring. They saw what you put out. They listened to the block, on the block, and they know what we're talking about. And they can understand, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I like what I see. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. What's up? Talk to me.
There's a lot there, and we have a lot of comments here on the text line and on stream. We'll start with Taylor on Facebook. But what if Fred develops Price Sanford like Bryce Williams did in the 2 years he was here? I don't think that's
they're
in
not
the cards.
the same type of player.
Thank you. Price isn't even his brother, right?
Yeah,
his brother Peyton handled the ball a lot for Iowa. I don't think Price turns into that. Again, I think Price Sanford would be a good complementary piece for Nebraska. But if you're going to go all in on him, he
seems to me to be a taller version of Sejan. I mean, with the ability to handle a little bit more.
Yeah.
Probably.
Which, if you want size, that fits what you're going.
But can he defend? See, that's the thing.
Well, he went to Iowa, so you
got to look at that. See, that's the other part, right? You got to look at Iowa. What you're bringing is going to be something very similar to what they did there. Iowa, for the most part, has not in their history been known for defense. I mean, you can go back even before just this last run that they had. They didn't even really play man to man. They played zone. Yeah, I mean, and consistently zone. So it's they've always really had a defensive problem.
Right. I also want to get to this. Matt from Husker Hoop Central tweets at me on Twitter. It's at Austin_Orman. You can also tweet at Eastrick20 or at OnTheBlock937 with comments or questions. He says, one thing to note, if you haven't already, is that guys aren't going to show up on campus in the order you might want to sign and or prioritize them. And Correct, right? Yeah, you got to take guys when they're available, right? Price Sanford put his name in the portal pretty early. He's obviously close enough to Lincoln. He's familiar with the program, having come on an official visit before. I wasn't saying Nebraska shouldn't make him the first one or Nebraska should wait on him, because I like the archetype. I think there's a useful player in there, and you got to take guys when you're available, right? This wasn't supposed to be a specific sort of comment on, Price Stanford, why does Nebraska have him in first? Or, why is Nebraska prioritizing him? It was more a comment in the big picture, right? Of team building philosophy, where I do think that Nebraska is a program that has to not settle for what's available, but when you can get familiar guys in the building for an official visit again, you obviously line that up. But I still think that Nebraska's best avenue moving forward is to fill out a roster with complementary players and then try to say, hey, look at all these pieces we have in place. Do you want to come in and be the final piece? We see you being the missing link. I don't see Nebraska as a place that can go out there and afford to wait on guys like Price Sanford, hoping that they can spend more of their budget on a big name player, because then you're going to miss out on guys that, well, at the very least, raise your floor, if not your ceiling. So that's more what I was getting at with that discussion, more so than any specific player. Lots more to get to. Let's go ahead and step aside, take our first break of the show. Lots more to get to here on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Plenty to get to for Nebraska Spring Ball. Matt Rule spoke today. Definitely want to hear from the head coach with that. A little wrestling talk as well ahead. 402-464-5685. Drop us a line on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube as well. He's Strick. I'm Austin. More on the block in a moment.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Join Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland, and Austin Norman this Thursday, March 27th at the brand new Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane as we celebrate MLB opening day and the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. That's Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We got lots to get to here. Y'all are popping off on our conversation from the first segment. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and keep that rolling. 402-464-5685. We'll get back to the text line in just a sec. Do want to let you know you can join me and Jay, potentially Stricky, remotely this Thursday, March 27th at the brand new Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane. On the Block and Old School, we'll be there from 3 to 6 as we celebrate Major League Baseball opening day and the NCAA men's basketball tournament Sweet 16. They've got a heck of a menu: steak skewers, liquid gold smash burger, blue chip burger, stakeholder sandwich, and much more. Lincoln's best selection of beers, cocktails, whiskey, and more on their drink menu. Again, 3 to 6 on Thursday at Liquid Assets, 2755 at Jamie Lane in South Lincoln, just north of 27th and Yankee Hill. Back to our starter Heyman Jewelers text line we go here. Let's see. Bill in Bennett asks, if the fans don't really care about Nebraska basketball, then why did they pay for Pinnacle Bank Arena? Well, number one, that's a multi-purpose venue, right, that Nebraska basketball uses. They didn't build a basketball-specific arena. And Strick, I think that, again, when you talk about facilities, you talk about investment, Pinnacle Bank Arena is the least of the concerns. You know, it's a great venue that when the team is playing well and it's rolling, it gets packed, it gets loud. We've heard a lot of positive things about that venue from opposing coaches and national media members that come in and visit. But would Nebraska basketball be better served by having a smaller Devaney Center-esque on campus or closer to campus arena? I don't know, right? Like, I love the idea of Nebraska basketball having its own arena. I just don't think that's going to be the case again. I think PBA is here to stay. I think it's a good venue. And I think there are some other location. I think there was a lot going on outside of that rather than just, the fans wanted a new building.
Yeah. No, there's nothing really to dig into that. I think that's the case. Is multi-purpose locations where it is, right there in the Haymarket. Concerts, they've done big things there. You know, it's used for a lot of things. So, yeah, state basketball, volleyball. You know, I don't know volleyball. The state volleyball plays over in the other one, right? They play in Devaney, right?
They play both.
They do both.
They play both.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway.
No. Okay, yeah. So 50-26, I wanted to get to this as well, Strick. This person agreed with a lot of what you were saying. 50-26 says, it's such a gamble getting all your talent from the portal every year, especially when you aren't a top NIL program. It doesn't feel sustainable. It feels as if Nebraska caught lightning in a bottle last year, and they still went one and done in the tourney. I think that's a lot of what you were saying, a lot of what I was saying. And we can point to examples in basketball. We can point to examples in baseball, in football, across sports. And I mean, we have to be honest about this. The transfer portal is a gamble, but so is high school recruiting. You know, it's all you don't know who these players are before they get to campus. Now, the hope with high school recruiting is that you recruit a class, which is, 1, 2, maybe 3 players, depending on the year in basketball, and that you see dividends of relationships off the court, trust, and a symbiotic relationship on the court grow and blossom over the course of years, right? What the transfer portal has done has expedited that process. And yes, it's more of a gamble in that way, but it's just as much of a gamble because talent acquisition is always a risk. You're always rolling the dice, whether or not it's transfer portal or high school recruiting.
Yeah. I mean, Austin, ain't really, you're answering the questions. There ain't no need to even me tie in on that. I agree. I think it's in its own category. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be done, but you have to first get a grasp on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I had to understand who I was, what I wasn't, make an assessment as to what I need to do to become better than, the weaknesses that I had. And then I had to figure out how to assert my strengths so that shines and not weaknesses. Right? I'm a smart man to know that if I'm handling the ball, that why am I going to fight against Gary Payton? Why am I going to fight against Mookie Blaylock? Why am I going to fight against even Muggsy Bogues? Why? I'm going to give this ball right over here to Dirk. I'm going to give this ball right over here to Finley because their guy's not going to hound him the way that they're going to hound me. Why fight it? I'm going to go right on down here to this block for a play, or I'm going to go in and try to get an offensive rebound, or I'm going to go in and try to be impactful with a cut after, they go to go to Dirk in the post and you need to, you know what I'm saying? I'm smart enough to know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Basketball IQ.
That, and so the thing is this also grows outside of just the person. It's the team.
Yeah.
It's the coaching staff. It's understanding your personnel. How can I put this personnel in a positive position so that they're successful? Because if I only try to put the square peg in the round hole, my personnel may not fit. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be able to have contingency plans, right? Some of you guys like to play Fortnite, or what's the other one?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Some of y'all like to play that, right? There's multiple ways to which you could approach to win the scene, the battle, or whatever, right? You can go up there, you can be more stealth. You can go right through the front door, and we can be, more let it fly. You know what I'm saying? Or we can lure somebody, on another side. You make the choice. But that all depends on how much smoke you want. And so that's the choice you have to make. You have to have a contingency plan, because it is not always going to go right. Am I going to dive into this water? Is there a boat available to me? Is there, you know what I'm saying?
Is there even a life preserver?
Or do we need to run out of here? Do I need to steal a car? We need to figure out, if things go left, what's the contingency? And that's what I don't know with Nebraska. I don't know. I'm seeing a one-trick pony. Go ahead.
Captain Obvious wants to jump off on that. He says, some of my frustration is I don't feel like I could answer someone if they asked me what Nebraska basketball is all about. Can't say it's about shooting. Can't say it's about defense, toughness, rebounding. Seems like the program hasn't had an identity in a long, long time. Well, I can tell you that for a long time, Collier, Sadler, even Miles, those were defense first programs, right? That was the identity, but it didn't lead to winning. You knew what Nebraska was going to do. It was going to be ugly. It was going to be a rock fight. It was going to be hard to watch basketball. It just didn't work. Doesn't mean they didn't have an identity. It just wasn't there. Now, Fred Hoiberg came in. The thought was identity shift, right? Pace and space, stretch big men, playmaking big men, 3-point shooting that never materialized. We did have someone comment, what's up with the 3-point percentage? Why do we care? That's why Nebraska lost a lot of games. I would throw out there that Nebraska shot threes 38.5% of the time last year, which is 4th out of 6 seasons for Fred Hoiberg and 179th out of 360 teams nationally. Nebraska shot an average amount of threes relative to the level. And didn't shoot them very well, but the team that made it to the tournament shot threes 44% of the time. Guess what? They went in and Nebraska looked better. So I don't think it's all about threes, but the bigger takeaway here is Fred Hoiberg came in with the thought of what he wanted the team's identity to be, the program's identity to be. It didn't work. He shifted. And then this last year was another shift, toward it, but away from it at the same time, which is why I think a lot of people were confused about, well, where'd the identity go? Where did the selling point go? Which leads me to this, Strick, from Cigar Guy on our Starter Heyman Jewelers.
Well, before you say that, before you
say
say Cigar Guy, I do want to say this. I feel for Fred. So I want to make this clear. If he's listening or everybody else is listening or staff, I really want you to know that I actually feel for you because I know it's not all your fault. I know you're sitting at the poker table, you've been dealt a poker hand and it's sloppy.
Yeah.
But I gotta try to manage it. I play dominoes. So I know there's times I'm dealt a garbage hand, but I gotta make it work. And I feel that's kind of where Nebraska is unfortunately at too. They've got to try to make a lot work with not really having a lot to make it work. But go ahead.
Cigar Guy in our Starter Human Jewelers text line says, in basketball especially, if you live and die in the portal, you're probably going to die. Unless you have amazing scouts and talent evaluators, even then you can have all the talent, but it's a crappy team.
Aha! He hit something. What did he say? Say that middle part again.
Unless you have amazing scouts and talent evaluators, if you live and die in the portal, you're probably going to die.
Now, if you was listening to Stricky, I told you that's it right there. The reason being that is a huge part of what's going on is you're seeing that you can't play in that space the way that you want to play. And on top of that, you're not moving towards the space that you need to be in because you can't play in that space. How did I tell you that? I told you about my story.
Trying to go all the way up the mountain, they kicked you halfway back down.
See, if you listen, you'll hear that we answer your questions just by sometimes Stricky will do it by metaphor. I'll tell you a story, but I'm saying the same thing. It's tough to play with the big dogs when you don't have big dog money. So you got to figure out how to play. To me, it's got to be a balance. But to add to that, what did he say about you have to have scout? What did he say?
Unless you have amazing scouts or talent evaluators, even then you can have all the talent, but maybe still a crappy team.
What does that cost, though?
Investment behind the scenes and infrastructure.
And we just talked about that in the beginning. You're hearing us answer your question, right? And maybe you're just adding on to it, but you're saying it in the way that we've said it, just in a different way. You're saying the exact same thing we said because I believe you need that. I believe, and I've said it to Jay. I said, Jay, what they need is guys like us. I'm not saying us. I would entertain it, but I'm not saying us because I'm a people's guy. You need people that are going to be able to go have those conversations with coaches, have those conversations with parents, have those. Now, again, it's not necessarily recruiting. It's just engaging. I just want to know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling your son to come here. I just want to know about him. it would be no different than what a news person would do trying to get the story. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, I'm getting some background information. I just want to know a little bit deeper. Yes, we know your son can play and he's very good at what he does, but at the same time, we want to know where his head's at. We want to know what he cares about. We want to know what he does in his off time. I just, what are some of the things he likes? You know what I'm saying? So that way we can figure out how to mold and mesh. If you're going to play in the transfer portal, you need to know those deeper. You have to have those deeper conversations because otherwise you're freaking throwing you're throwing what is it called? Our guys, heavenly waffles thrown in there with the Waffle House. And that's a different type of mix. That's gonna come out looking probably terrible trying to mix the two.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. You start just pulling people and you like what he can do or the numbers, but
we call that.
Does he like you?
We call that the first 3 years
right.
of Nebraska under Fred.
Right.
Think about those teams. Where was the cohesion?
Yeah.
Where was the mix of talent? It wasn't there.
Y'all have dated Austin. You're not in the dating pool, so you can't say this, but I can say this: you have dated a female or male that sold you the game, sold you the love, and only to find out that he was creeping through the back door. You know what I'm saying? Like we've all been through it. That's kind of the issue that you have if you're just pulling people off the street, off Tinder.
Mm-hmm. I want to push back a little bit on that. Not much.
Go ahead.
And not from Nebraska specifically.
Let's box.
Right? Because Nebraska,
you Canelo.
Nebraska is not a stars and scrubs program.
Yeah.
Nebraska is a system program right now. Nebraska creates its stars in its system, right? Nebraska doesn't recruit stars and build around it. Nebraska needs to know who it is, what it wants to do, recruit to that, and then have players who are very good in what they're asked to do. Big picture, outside of Nebraska, I would say it is easier and simpler to live instead of die in the transfer portal in basketball as opposed to football. Because basketball, Strick, we know basketball, one guy can take over a lot easier than football, right? So if you go get that one guy and are good enough around him, look at Terran Petaway, right? Yeah, Walter Pitchford played a role. Sure, maybe, Siobhan Shields or Ty Webster, whoever's on that 2013-14 team also played their roles. But 2013-14 Nebraska was star, and scrubs is kind of what the vibe was. I don't know if that's Nebraska long-term, but I do think it's easier to go find a Terran Petaway. I think it's easier to go find a Teddy Allen than it is to go find Cam Ward. I think there's more Teddy Allens and more Terran Petaways walking around than there are Cam Wards. I really believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be proven wrong, but I think just because of the outsized impact one player can have on a basketball game compared to a football game, it is easier. Especially, the numbers are still going to be big, but relative to level, numbers should be hypothetically more manageable in basketball. And this is not me saying Nebraska needs to go find Terran Petaway or Teddy Allen every year.
Right.
Do not misunderstand me, right? I still think the way for Nebraska to go, but that's another way for Nebraska to be successful, Strick, is in finding a system, knowing what you recruit to, and taking these under the radar, under recruited guys that don't fit these other more traditional systems, but they work for you. That can be your market inefficiency if you capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Which Nebraska hasn't yet. Old Dad 34.
That's the one I wanted to get to. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to answer it quickly. We can hop off on this an hour or two. Are we giving up on high school kids for basketball? No. We had an entire 10-minute discussion on the fact that high school recruiting has been a swing and a miss repeatedly for this Nebraska men's basketball program. The guys they get that are decent, they don't keep, and they don't get a whole lot of decent contributors for more than a year, if at all. It's a problem. We need to dive into that. Virginia Pirate sent something really interesting as well. This is a fun direction for the show. You guys have been great today. We really appreciate the interaction. 402-464-5685. We're going to go to break. Stricky's on the hot seat. We're playing the shootout with Strick. So we need a caller on our Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. We will get back to this discussion and more after Shootout with Strick.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Isn't new, it's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Join Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland, and Austin Norman this Thursday, March 27th at the brand new Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane as we celebrate MLB opening day and the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. That's Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see mainly sunny skies, and it will be breezy. The afternoon high around 67. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, below near 57. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. The afternoon high around 67. Immediate dollars is kind of collected for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick, brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
We need a caller, 402-464-5685, to take on E-Strick in trivia. Strick, it's been a minute since you've played the game. You rusty or you rested?
Rusty.
You're rusty.
Rusty.
The people want to hear that.
Yeah, they got a chance for some good stricking.
Ooh. Speaking of good stricken, let's just give another huge thank you and shout out to our friends at Buffalo Wings and Rings who sponsor this segment, the Shootout with Strick. If you beat Strick, you get $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. They've got a couple Lincoln locations. We very often find ourselves down at 68th and O Streets here in Lincoln at Buffalo Wings and Rings down there. The staff has always taken great care of us. The food hasn't missed as far as I'm concerned. Strick, you had what, the Buffalo nachos, I think, one day?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
No, everything I had. And then I had the salad the next day. Everything.
Of course you did.
Because you wasn't there.
You're eating rabbit food.
Yeah, the only reason because you wasn't
Rabbit
there.
food.
I
would have helped you make a better decision.
Trying to get summer sexy.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
let
good
me
luck
ask
with
this
that.
question real quick.
We got James on our
We got
Hot Plate
James
hotline.
there? Oh, okay. What's up,
Play
James?
shootout with Strick. James, how's it going, man?
What's up, man?
Nah.
All right. We ready.
Stricky's ready. James, 4 for him, then 4 for you. You hold on the line. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, Stricky, you're around to the shootout. We're doing college basketball coaches, by the way. College basketball coaches. Stricky's round starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He's the head coach at Auburn, Bruce Pearl or Gus Malzahn?
Basketball? Pearl.
He's the new head coach at Virginia, Ryan Odom or Ryan Miller?
Miller.
It's Odom. He's the head coach at Wake Forest, Steve Forbes or Mike Young?
Forbes.
It is Forbes, and he's the head coach at Arizona. He's the head coach at Arizona.
I know that.
10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Bobby Hurley.
2, 1.
Bobby Hurley is at Arizona State. It's Tommy Lloyd.
Dang it!
Lloyd, former Mark Few lieutenant, is the head coach at Arizona. So that's 2 points out of 5 available, Stricky. You got 2.
I was in the right spot.
You were in the right state. I'll give you that much. All right, James, 2 points to tie, 3 or more to win. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, your round starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He's the head coach at Houston, Kelvin Sampson or Rudy Tomjanovich?
Kelvin Sampson.
Yep, he's the head coach at Iowa State, TJ Otzelberger or Steve Prohm?
TJ Otzelberger.
Yep, he's the head coach at Pittsburgh, Chris Jans or Jeff Capel?
Chris Jans.
It's Jeff Capel, and he's the new head coach at Minnesota.
Ben something.
What's his name?
Ben Coleman.
It is not Ben Coleman. The answer, Stricky, do you know?
No.
Nico Medved. Medved, the Colorado State head coach, just got hired at Minnesota, just jumped off the plane earlier this morning. All right, we go to the tiebreaker, tied at 2. James, we will give Strick the question. He will
James
answer
is over
with
there
a number.
fumbling. He's doing a lot of fumbling right now. He got Stricky's head kind of discombobulated.
Stricky will guess. He will give a number. James, you will go over, under, or push Strick's answer for the win. Sound like a plan?
He's fumbling something.
James, you good with it?
What was the question again?
Okay, Stricky will answer the question. You will go over, under, or push the number that he gives. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, Stricky. How many different conferences are represented in the men's Sweet 16? How many different conferences are represented in the men's Sweet 16?
Oh, conferences.
How many different conferences are represented in the men's Sweet 16? You got to count it straight.
3.
You got to say it. Okay, James, over, under, or push. 3 conferences represented in the men's Sweet 16 for the win.
The SEC has 7. I'm going to say over.
No, he's doing
He
too
says
much.
over.
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
The answer? 4. The SEC has 7. The Big 10 and the Big 12 have 4. And the ACC gets 1. My Duke Blue Devils. James, the win is yours. Hold on the line to get your $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Congrats on the win.
Hey, Stricky, the Huskers got a new
assistant coaching job available. Maybe you need to look into that.
Thank you, my guy. I appreciate you.
All right, man.
Oh, dang, man.
You're right there, Stricky.
I wasn't too rusty.
No, you were pretty good. You're all right.
I almost said 4.
Why didn't you?
I told myself I was going to start going with my first mind.
Next time.
Yeah.
Next week, but maybe not. Maybe Jay's playing next week.
That's
You'll play Thursday, probably.
It was fun.
So he's Strick. I'm Austin. Hour 2 of On the Block straight ahead.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Whether it's neck pain, shoulder pain, or lower back pain, Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic's team specializes in treatments such as dry needling, cupping therapy, and traditional adjustments. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today, 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and 8th Street in Lincoln.
I'm Chief Dave Engler. When a fire truck hits a pothole with 12 tons of fast-moving equipment and crew, it's a problem. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue Lincoln's quarter-cent sales tax for street improvements. A vote against eliminates the street funding. A vote for will not raise your taxes and keeps the funding in place. And better roads means faster response times. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com.
We use our Lincoln streets every day, and so do first responders. But visitors and out-of-town commuters also do. A quarter-cent sales tax for streets passed by voters in 2019 makes those commuters pay about $6 million a year to improve streets. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue it. A vote against means no more funds from commuters. A vote for will not raise your taxes, and commuters still pay. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com. Paid for by the City of Lincoln.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Buffalo Wings and Rings today on 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village. Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln. load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Woo! What a shootout with Strick. It was a shootout indeed. James is the one that ends up taking home the win. Appreciate James for calling in for the shootout with Strick, taking him down. Putting minutes play. No, I'm just kidding. You're a game, Stricky. Valiant effort.
He did.
A little rusty, but you shook it off.
I was right there.
You're right. Text line, you guys are definitely not rusty.
Felt like he was Derek Queen.
He was from Baltimore?
He hit the game-winning runner on me.
Did he travel, though?
No.
James or Derek Queen?
Queen. I don't think he did. I think there's I think, one, you don't call the travel there in that situation. Two, it's relative to whether you perceive when the actual dribble was picked up, because if you really look at it in slow motion, as he gathered to pick it up, there was a bobble. He could bobble and run for 7 steps if you want to, like if it's an authentic bobble. I mean, if you're just running down going, hey, that's different, right? But he actually kind of, as he put it to the left side, you can see that it wasn't necessarily fully gathered with one or two hands. It just kind of like bobbled there on the reach, and then he gathered and got into his 1-2. So if you're going to be technical about it, it's a 50-50, but I don't think you make that call, in that situation. You allow it to play out. Great defense, no foul, running away shot. He makes it. Hey, you did your thing. If you miss it, hey, you gave it a shot. And I love it that refs don't get involved in that one. That's the one. Leave that alone. I mean, we've seen refs get involved in game situations. I don't like it.
I tend to, but again, I think that goes both ways, right? Because on the one hand, the refs decide the game if they blow the whistle, but they also help decide the game if they don't blow the whistle. It does go both ways. When we talk about, let the players decide the game, well, sometimes the defensive player decides to foul. And by swallowing the whistle, guess what? You decided the game by not calling the foul as well. So it goes both ways, but on one that was as quick as that, as close as that, play on. I mean, that's tough. I don't think he's going to get a talking to from his supervisor for missing it. There's a graphic that Virginia Pirates sent that I think we definitely need to get to because it's interesting. But Ricky, you wanted to pick up a little bit on what Old Dad 34 said, and then we got a really good text from Travis as well. Old Dad 34's comment in question was, is Nebraska giving up on high school kids for basketball? What do you think about that?
I'm going to say they can't. This adage for Nebraska, I still believe stands. We were very fortunate in my timeline to have not only good in-state talent that we were able to keep, i.e. Badgett, Glock,
Bagé,
Bruce Chubbuck. Believe it or not, I think
Mark
Glock
Haxke.
still I think he's still, as far as the state's highest score. I know I'm second in Class A, but he's probably, I think, the state's all-time leading scorer. But he didn't start or didn't play big minutes for us, and that's okay. But he was that role guy that we needed. That's what you need, I think. And I think that's what today's high school players can become. The problem with that is high school players, a lot of them with the transfer portal as well as with NIL, they in their mind's eye believe that they should be starting when the minute they got off the plane.
Glock was outscored by Bruce Chubbuck in his career.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying in high school.
No, Chubb was tough. He was, 6'8", and he was Atkinson Westhalt's
C2 probably.
They
C1,
total
C2?
domination,
Yeah.
and him and there was a guy I think name was Peacock or something back then, and he was 6'5". He was their point guard. We played them in back in the day we used to have this basketball camp. It was a team camp. We would all go, so the best teams throughout the state would come down.
Who scored more points in high school? You or Woolridge?
Oh, Dre did.
By 4.
Yeah.
He got you by 4, Stricky.
And he
2 more
took
layups, my guy.
He got it by getting 50 in the state championship game that I didn't make that year. He needed 50 to get me. 50.
And he friggin' did it.
And I'm looking at freaking Hastings like, are y'all going to play any freaking Is there going to be a double team? Is there a double team? Is there boxing one? Is there something? Y'all just going to let him go for the 50 piece? I was like, wow. I sat there and watched. Was like, wow, they just going to let him just get it. It felt
they're on
like
the take.
It felt
Tricky,
like
they're on the take.
It felt like the Kobe and the Toronto Rap when they stepped in and let him get the
81.
Yeah, that part. That's what it felt like. But anyway, I say that to say I still think they need it. Mm-hmm. They are not fortunate to be able to play in that game. Like there's guys that can play, man. There's guys that show up in Vegas. You look. Let me just say it like this. I'm gonna be real simple about it. Don't show up with Michael Jordan, even though you've got millions. Don't show up with him thinking you're gonna gamble with him.
Chris Peacock.
Peacock,
found it.
There it is. He was like 6'5".
Dang.
So he was their point guard.
Woo. Him and Chubbuck together.
Come on, man. Well, I mean, we beat him though.
Well, yeah. Well,
he didn't beat
you're Class A depth.
Stricky lockdown Peacock. Put me on him. You crazy than a mother. Lockdown. Now, Chubb, I had a little problem. I had to try to body up Chubb a little bit, but
he was playing some booty ball, wasn't he?
Yeah, Chubb was physical. But no, man, no, real talk. Like, don't go to Vegas with I would even see Chuck. Don't go with Charles Barkley and Michael thinking you gonna hang in the gambling casino, whatever game they're playing. Your money. Don't go on the golf course thinking that you're gonna outbet. Don't do it. Nebraska can't do that. So Nebraska has to have a balance. And I said that by saying we were fortunate to have a good balance of not only in-state talent, high school talent, raised them up and through, and was willing to sit and wait our turn. That game has changed. Since that game has changed, you have to find a high-level high school contributor so that they don't feel slighted or they don't feel Like I can go, like real talk. There's some probably high division, power 4 team guys that feel, oh snap, I can go over to Drake. I can go over to Drake and ball tomorrow. They'll, you know what I'm saying? I can go over, there's places that they can go. And it doesn't have to be at the Power 5 level. They don't have to go. They can go to some of these places, raise their bar, bet on themselves, and then make the transition late.
That is a perfect lead into a text we have from Travis. Again, on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line 402-464-5685. He says, Nebraska needs to start figuring out the in-between kids in state, whether or not Nebraska should offer them out of high school. John Tonje, Baylor Shireman, Frankie Fiddler, Chucky Hepburn, now Bryson Ball. Travis says, in his opinion, none of these guys besides Chucky Hepburn were good enough out of high school to come in right away and play. But the problem today is if they don't play right away, they transfer. That's just a lot of what you were saying there, Strick. But again, I think that's spot on. Because think about the in-state guys that Nebraska has gotten commitments from. Henry Burt. Brady Hyman. What did he do? Donovan Williams was committed and then obviously went elsewhere. But it was Donovan and Chucky, right? Nebraska probably wasn't that close for Hunter Salas. Nebraska didn't take a look at Tonje. I don't know if they ever reached out to St. Thomas, ever had a single conversation with him. Jason Green, again, maybe tougher, but good enough for Creighton. He's not good enough for you. Really? Stuff like that. These guys, Stricky, that to your point, are not ready. And if they sit the bench, maybe they transfer anyways. But Nebraska clearly does not have right of first refusal on the talent inside the state. Even if Nebraska was to get one of these guys, do you have any confidence that Nebraska would maximize them?
Well,
Braden Frager is a fascinating test case right now. Will he break that trend? Or is he just another, there is a decent in-state kid that Nebraska could actually get, so they took him and he didn't do anything? Nebraska needs to be better at identifying these in-state players and giving them a reason to stick around and develop at Nebraska. Because let's say, Bryson Ball goes off to South Dakota State and develops. What are the odds he looks at Nebraska? Not that high. Did Mike Dahm ever give Nebraska a second thought? Nebraska wasn't on Mike Dahm out of Kimball. He went and starred in the Summit League, right? Was Nebraska ever on Frankie Fiddler? Did they ever give him a chance to develop at Nebraska? Probably not. Will Kyle's a name we've brought up here multiple times, right? I get what Travis is saying, right? And what you're saying.
I can even go further back.
Well, we will. I'll let you. But
no. I'm just saying.
I am not on the boat that Nebraska. I don't think Nebraska needs to be a team of 15 in-state players. Get the best of the best or keep your eyes on the best of the best. But if you're not going to bring them to campus, if you're not going to get them to sign on the dotted line to be a part of Nebraska's program, there is no guarantee you get them when they go somewhere else and they blow up. What reason has Nebraska given in-state players to come home?
Well said.
What reason have they given? So it would be great if Nebraska could send these guys to South Dakota State and say, we have a spot waiting for you. Prove to us you can get better at this, and we'll have a spot for you in 2 years. Even if that's something the staff and the program want to do, what reason is Nebraska giving these players to come home?
Gotcha. You said, I ain't got no rebuttal. That's your good pushback? That was your pushback? That was good. I mean, there's no rebuttal because there isn't any, what's that song by Bruno Mars? I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. Hey, Nebraska don't have that ability. You come back to the door and the door is locked. It is shut off, and the Ring doorbell is letting everybody know that you're there, but I'm still not answering. That's what it feels like. Because look, the sad part about it, Austin, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not gonna say which coaching regime it was. I'm just gonna say on multiple occasions, I've had inner road connection with interest, not the interest we're paying right now on this huge debt, but that. With interest, meaning someone's excited to possibly look at the opportunity of coming here. and I didn't get any traction. It was overlooked, passed over. And then guess what? They go blow up. And guess what now? The price tag went extra high.
Well,
now you're
reason to
OJ
look at
Mayo.
you. Outside of price tag, even. Put price tag to the side.
Yeah.
Because, Tricky, I think a big talking point for Husker fans is, a Nebraska kid will want to come home and play for Nebraska.
Negative.
We are
We're not
finding
there.
that's not
We're
necessarily
past
true.
that. Yeah. Yeah, we're past that.
And that's a problem.
It is. So that's why you have to that's why I think you got to go above and beyond in the scouting department. You've got to find your John Morant in the back annals of the halls of basketball gym, that he's not the size, he's not the physique, he's not yet, he's still very right-hand dominant, but he's super athletic, he's got super heart, he locks down and guards, he understands the game, so cerebrally you can see that there's growth that can come out of it. He's just not a raw talent, he's just not a Shaq figure in there that just, he's 6'10" and everybody else is 6'6" and he's just dominant. No. He's actually someone, I mean, he can even be undersized right now. Okay, let's check him out. What's his dad?
Oh, his dad 6'3"?
What's his mom? Okay, he could have a late spurt. Okay, he's
they played in
5'8" now.
college?
He can maybe get to 6. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Mom played in college. Dad played overseas.
You got to look beyond just those are the finds you're going to have to find. And they're out there, like you said.
Well, and they're not on the main gym.
They're not on the main gym.
They're in the back gym.
Exactly.
They're in the side gym.
Exactly. That's where you need to live. You need to be, what's his name? What's the actor in Blue Chips? Nick Nolte.
Oh, Nick Nolte. Yeah.
You're going to have to be Nick Nolte in the bayous where the alligators are running up on your feet and the basketball rim is a doggone attached to a tree. Nebraska needs to become that. But guess what? Bland complacency, bouginess. That's an additional word. Strictionary. Go find it.
And I'm not going to put this on Fred Hoiberg, right? But I know when he came in, the reputation was Fred Hoiberg doesn't love to recruit. And that's fine, right? You have the things you like to do and the things you have to do. But at this point, Stricky, whether that's true or not, there's extra pressure, there's extra work that has to go into getting this program where I think Fred Hoiberg wants it to be. I think at the very least, the narrative when he came in was Fred Hoiberg is here for X's and O's. Matt Abdelmassih is here to get the talent in the door. Fred Hoiberg will work with what he gets. Well, guess what? Abdelmassih's gone.
Guess where?
St. John's.
And
well, he went to be an agent, and then he picked up at St. John's. But
2C.
Also, second round exit.
Oh, they exit, but
that's more games than Nebraska's ever won in the tournament, to be completely fair.
Is.
Not trying to knock it. But I think that if Fred Hoiberg has an idea of a player he likes, no matter how much he wants to recruit or doesn't want to recruit, Fred Hoiberg might have to start being the tip of the spear in being the guy that's in the back gym, right? Don't just send Nate Lenzer out. Don't just send Ernie Ziegler out. Fred Hoiberg, maybe it's time. Maybe he is. Maybe you need to do more of it.
Or guess who? A Stricky type.
Or leverage relationships.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, if you don't want to do that, you need somebody. Remember, I think I might have told you. Like, and look, and again, I'm saying a type. You need somebody that can identify, can look, also listen to what you're looking for, and be able to go out, and when they walk up on it or they talk to it or they reach out to it, there's an engagement that can happen just because of your pedigree. Fred, you're gonna get people to answer that call.
Yeah.
Now, I used to say when Doc Sadler was here, I said, Doc, look, it doesn't have to be me, man, but you need someone like me. I don't care if it's Pike. I don't care if it's Bruce. I don't care who it is. You need someone that knows this place, that when they walk in, they don't look at you as Back to the Future, Dr. Brown. Like, real talk, if you're a parent and Doc Sadler, now he's lost weight, he looks good. But when Doc Sadler was kind of hefty, hair kind of wild, walks in with his suit kind of back, he looked like Dr. Brown. Like, if you're a parent and he came in there to see baby Husker, you know what I mean? He came in there to see, you know what I'm saying? He walks in and he's sitting there talking to you, and you look at him and that's what you see, Dr. Brown. How, Dr. Brown, are you going to get me? I know you can take me back to the future, but how are you going to get him to his future place? I don't see it. Like, for real, like, don't get it twisted. Now, the way you overcome that is if you're a Calipari, or if you're a Patino, or if you're a, Larry Bird, or, few, because you've shown a pedigree of being able to not only put guys at the next level, but there's also some places that are good college teams just didn't move them to the next level. So then there's a different look. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna put your guy in the next level, but I'm gonna prepare him for professionalism. I'm gonna make him a man. So now there's a different conversation. I'm gonna make him a man. I'm going to make sure he's disciplined. I'm going to make sure he handles his business both in and out of the class. But I'm also going to prepare him for anything that he must endure when it comes to the basketball game. I'm going to get him ready. Now that's a different conversation if you haven't put a lot of guys in. But if you put guys in, now you can show that just by, you don't even have to talk about it. You can show that just by your pedigree when they walk through and they see the names.
Yeah.
And so you have to ask the question then. I'm going to throw this at you because I know you're going to be able to answer this. You have to ask the question, what's going on with North Carolina?
Don't know, don't care.
See, but I know you'll give the negative of, because there's got to be a negative side, because Hubert's a parental.
Got
right
to the program, to the pros.
They got money.
All of that. Got money. It can't be as simple as they didn't have a GM. There's more going on there, right? They hired a GM. It's kind of confounding that they're above average, and that's it, right? Carolina hasn't been a serious contender. Even the run they made to the national championship game, they were
still
an 8
bad.
seed.
Yeah,
they were an 8 seed. Yeah, there are legitimate questions about that program, that operation behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying it's either neither here nor there, or opposites. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there that you can make an assessment, because I saw with my own eyes when Kentucky was really making its one and done runs. Yes, they weren't having NCAA success, but they were putting people in the NBA. You want to know who was sitting on that bench?
Who was sitting on that bench?
Rod Strickland. Kyrie Irving's got, there's all types of things when you, Rod could walk in a room and just say, go look at my tape, young fella. And then go look at his mixtape and be like, oh, wait a minute.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
Right? Oh, Kyrie's handled like that. Like there's a little different perk. You know what I'm saying?
Can I give you my favorite stat in a long time?
What's that, my boy?
What was the last year North Carolina produced an NBA All-Star? The University of North Carolina.
All-Star,
NBA All-Star.
I'm going to go back to, I'm going to say 2008.
Anton Jameson and Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
Have not had an NBA All-Star since then.
I believe it.
Kind of wild. Lots more to get to on this topic. Did not envision this taking all show, but you guys have been fantastic. There's a really interesting question there from McGee on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Hold on, McGee. We will answer that question. We'll keep the conversation rolling here during On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. In the afternoon high around 67. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, a low near 57. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. In the afternoon high around 67. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get the Buffalo Wings and Rings today on 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
This is On the Block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland holding things down for you for another 20 minutes or so. This segment is brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. You can check them out online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. You can also give them a call at 402-430-3852. What do you get with Heartland of Nebraska Windows? You get a free estimate. You get full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. They're locally and family owned, based out of Hallam, Nebraska, with their own team of installers. Again, you can find more information at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com or by calling 402-430-3852. Back to our text line here, Strick. McGee, I thought, had a pretty interesting text here. He says, but if everyone is, he said he texted about what does an NIL tournament team cost? And then if everyone is paying the same for a tournament caliber team, doesn't that just level the playing field again?
Right. Let me make sure I'm hearing that clearly. Say it again.
Let's start with the first question. Number one is, how much do you think an NCAA tournament team costs at the Power 5 level?
Okay. NCAA tournament team. I would say probably on the low end, about 2.5.
And that's probably if you're a scheme or system school, right?
Yeah. About 2.5. If there's certain types of players you're looking for, if you kind of come out of, like, if you're Villanova with, now I'm talking about old Villanova with certain types of players that you're looking for. I even think if you're Michigan State, if you're Michigan State and you're looking for a style of play, I think at a minimum, you're looking at about 2.5.
And then you can obviously go north of there. Indiana, the $5 to $8 million range, certainly, Louisville, BYU are certainly some big spenders in the NIL game as well. And here's the thing. Some teams are going to spend a lot of money and not win. Some teams are going to spend a lot of money and win. Some teams are going to spend very little money and have very little to show. Other teams are not going to spend that much money and, have a huge return on investment. There are these teams in all four quadrants every year. You just don't want to be that far out of whack with things. But then, Strick, the second question then is, but if everyone's paying the same number or in the same general range for a tournament caliber team, doesn't that just level the playing field back out?
No, well, I think what that requires then is, I can't say carte blanche across the board levels the playing field out, because there's other dynamics that exist, right? I think those dynamics are, how happy are you actually with the school and the experience there? Mm-hmm. Team camaraderie or chemistry, whether or not you actually fit. See, the problem that has persisted, I believe, and I think it's exacerbated now because of NIL, and it's no different than what we say that an addict in whatever area they're addicted to only becomes more of an addict when you look into the money. So if you're one type of addict at a level that's smaller, you just become more of it when you have more monetary abilities, right? Mm-hmm. So the issue that has existed in college sports for a while, Austin, I believe, has been the lack of ability to look at where they are as a institution, as a team, as a player, and they've looked at where the money has taken them and not necessarily the character that comes with the money, right?
They look just at the on the court, what your skills are, and it stops there.
Yeah, but it's so many other factors.
Cough, Hunter Dickinson, cough.
It's so many other factors that it could be located. I mean, we talk about it on the professional level, where we're talking about, like, what's the young quarterback that was went
Zach
from
Wilson?
Zach Wilson. Sometimes it's culture shock of the location, and this is why I think it's wise by what the family is doing with AJ DeBanza. They're not letting him go to UCLA or someplace like that, UNLV. They're keeping him right where he's familiar with the surroundings, so there can be a focus.
Well, they essentially brought him in a year early by making him prep in Utah.
Right, exactly. So he can get accustomed. there's strategy behind it. So Stricky, like just me. My dad didn't tell me this. My dad didn't look at me, Austin, and say, hey, where you want to be, here's where we think we should go. I think Jay's dad was more influential in that part of it than mine was, right? Mine just asked deeper questions, my whys. And when it came to my why, Austin, you'll be surprised. I knew that I couldn't go to a UCLA, or I couldn't go to a Florida State, or I couldn't go to certain schools like Georgetown, because I understood the cities and what I knew that being in Nebraska would keep me more focused on the next level. Hence, I was able to pursue and acquire that because of the focus. Because of the focus. It didn't have nothing to do with none of those schools or not want me or whatever the case may be. There's certain places that I know personally with getting them grades, graduating, and making sure that I could stay focused on the game. I knew I needed to be at a certain place, and I felt that Nebraska was it.
I would push back on what McGee is saying by saying this, Stricky. If everyone's spending the same, you're not guaranteed the same level playing field. I mean, look at the NBA. That's a salary cap. Is every team 41-41 every year?
Some suck.
Look at the NFL.
You're
Is
right.
every team 9-8 or 8-9? No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? Some teams make a better use of the funds they have available to them. And of course, baseball with no salary cap might honestly be the better example for this, because you're not being told what to spend or what not to spend. You can be the Dodgers. You can go all in and blow through the luxury tax triple and say, nope, you know what? Flags fly forever. It's worth it to us. We're going to pay. You can be the Pittsburgh Pirates and pay nothing and not offer anyone more than $5 million a year in free agency for the last decade and a half. And you get what you pay for. Bottom of the NL Central. Trade away your young stars. You can do that.
But the question is,
or you can be the Rays and spend a little bit of money here and there, but develop really well, draft really well.
There you go. Now you're getting into it.
Succeed and make really savvy decisions for when you hold on to guys and when you let them go. Or you can be the San Francisco Giants.
The Kansas City Royals.
You wish you were the Kansas City Royals. God's organization. Missouri's best team right now. Where you can be the San Francisco Giants, spend money and not have anything to show for it, and then have to back off for a few years, right? These quadrants exist in all these sports. Paying a little, paying a lot. Successful, not successful, right? There's a line that you walk. You want to be on the successful side of the line, obviously, right? Which is Nebraska going to be? I think Nebraska needs to be a Rays-esque organization. But I would also say $4 million, if you gave everyone $4 million to spend on a roster, yeah, they're going to be players that a lot of programs are going to target. And maybe one program would be willing to offer 1.5 of that $4 million to this player. Maybe for another program, they're only willing to offer 750. Okay, $4 million will be distributed 4 million different ways, depending on the program, right? Because let's just say a $4 million roster at Nebraska probably does not include a $2 million player. It probably looks closer to $500,000, $800,000 players, or two $1 million players and 4 or 5, $300,000 players. That's different than Auburn or Alabama or I don't even know. Name another, high flight, Kentucky, Louisville, something like that, right? Who might spend their $4 million on, hey, here's a 1.5 player. Here's a, 750 player. Now we have, 1 and 1.25 to distribute to, 4, 5, 6 other spots on the roster. They're also valued different by the system, right? There are some players that transcend systems that are going to fit in anywhere just because they're such a good player. But I also think, you've said this, I've said this, Text Line has said this, if Nebraska is going to be a scheme program, there might be a player that Nebraska would be willing to go more all in on, like a Rink Mast, because he fits that system, where you could tell me that, no, he doesn't really fit what Kansas wants to do. So he might be a $200,000 player to Kansas, but he's a $650,000 player to Nebraska. The same money stretches and doesn't stretch differently, and the same money gets allocated differently depending on the program. So just because the number is the same, that doesn't mean the money or the distribution is the same. We good with that?
Thumbs up. I don't give you the 2 thumbs down. I give you the 2 thumbs up.
Hey, I'm used to the 2 thumbs down, so I'll take a 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Let's take our final break of the show, get you set up for Teammates Timeout after this.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Madsen's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln. Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an advocate you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you need. Advocates you deserve. That's 877-42-LIBERTY or libertylawnebraska.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most. For all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Stricky just put an image in my head, and it's pretty funny. But we're gonna have to come back to that discussion another time because I am not fully prepared to comment on this. This is our final segment of the show, brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha. Good to see one of them, Maddie Kubik, in studio today, tagging along with her husband, Brant Banks. Pretty cool, pretty classy move, I think, by Nebraska Strick to allow a guy like Brant Banks and Noah Poligate, who the captain had both of them in studio the last couple days, to let him work out at their pro day, right? Both former members of the Nebraska football program, but not ties to Matt Rule. You know, they left before Matt Rule got. He didn't coach those guys, at least Noah Poligate, certainly not. Brant Banks, I don't think he coached at any point. But either way, I think that's just a really classy move by the program to say, hey, you were at Nebraska. We have an opportunity for you. It's no skin off our back. Sure, come back to Lincoln, use our facilities, and get a workout in for pro day.
I agree. Wonderful family. Got a chance to meet him. Definitely see where he gets his size from his dad and mom, but definitely dad. And great couple. Brant was here from, you didn't get to see him as much as I did, but because we were at the old location when Brant was really, really there and spending time with us, it was good to get an opportunity to meet him. And now he's all grown up. Hopefully his injuries heal and he'll be ready to go for camp.
Absolutely. Let's wrap up our basketball conversation with this year's Stricky. The Virginia Pirates sent in that graphic on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. There is one team in the Sweet 16 that has all 5 of its players that started their careers at this one school. It's a Big Ten team. It's not a big surprise. It's Purdue. I don't know if Nebraska can ever turn into Purdue, but I think that model of good recruiting, finding a scheme, and developing players in it needs to be what Nebraska's shooting for to some degree.
And what's crazy is because of the continuity of the staff, the scheme, and the players, even with the loss of just such a big, person in the program of Zach Edey, who had been a long time stayer there as well, you still have great success. It's just other people's roles evolve.
Yeah.
And they've evolved in those roles, and now they're maximizing, and everybody understands. And there's an understanding of how I can challenge you to become your best. When you're not performing at your best, we can have those type of discussions. And I think that's what you get when you have that type of continuity.
2 schools have 4 players that started their careers at this institution. And then 1 player that started outside of it. It's Duke with 4 of them. 3 of them are freshmen in Con Knipple, Cooper Flagg, and Common Malowach. Tyrese Proctor is the other one. And then the one transfer is Sion James. But Stricky, the other program with 4 in its starting lineup, again, Big Ten, again, scheme, system, knowing what you're going for, it's Michigan State. Yeah. Not a huge shock there either.
There's a lot of teams in the Big Ten. There's a lot of teams in the Big Ten that actually has taken this model. But it's an understanding of why they are successful. Because even though I think they have the ability to draw because of the success. I mean, because you just go look at the coaching success there. All of the years, I think I just saw a graphic not too long ago that he hasn't been one and done in like years.
In a while.
It's been a long, he's advanced. They showed, I think, the many times he's advanced to the Sweet 16. And I'm talking like it's over like 12 years. So when he gets in, you can pretty much say he's going to at least go somewhere.
See you next weekend.
You know what I'm saying? So they've got an understanding of that. Now there's not going to be a lot of other teams that have that, but it's definitely you can see where some of that success comes from.
And it's not something that Nebraska is going to build to overnight.
Shout out to Houston, because Sampson comes from that pedigree too. I mean, Sampson's an old guy from when I was even playing the Big 8.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that he's even been able to do it, but he's got a style. Dude, when you look at Houston, you know what they're going to do. They're going to run and gun, rebound athletically. They're going to defend the heck out of you. And, that's how it's going to play out.
It's going to be fascinating to monitor Nebraska and, of course, the Sweet 16. We will certainly get into some more of that tomorrow on the show and then Thursday as well. Don't forget, Thursday, we're down at Liquid Assets on 27th and Jamie Lane. Old School and On the Block will be down there from 3 to 6. Would love to have you come hang out with us for the 3 to 6 slot, watch some Sweet 16 action, watch some Major League Baseball opening day, and plenty more. Thanks to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese for sponsoring the show. He's Strick. I'm Austin. Teammates Timeout. 93.7 The Ticket comes your way in just a sec. Load up on meat and more this spring at the